Welcome to Learn English Unleashed.
Have you ever watched an English video and suddenly heard, I'm gonna call you? You understood call you. But then you stopped and thought, wait, what is gonna? Maybe you learned, I am going to call you. But a native speaker says, I'm gonna call you. Then you hear, do you want to come? I gotta go. And now you're thinking, why are they changing the English? Here's the good news. They are not changing English. And you are not bad at English. You are simply hearing real spoken English. Native speakers often connect words, make small sounds softer, and speak in a smoother way. And today we're going to make those sounds easy. You don't need a perfect accent. You don't need to speak super fast. And you don't need to live in America, the UK, Canada, or Australia. You just need to understand the pattern. Because once you understand wanna, gonna, and gotta, native English can suddenly become much easier to hear. And we're not going to learn them like boring grammar rules. We're going to hear them, say them, and use them in real-life situations. So stay with me. Because by the end of this lesson, when someone says, what are you going to do? You won't think. What did they say? You'll simply think. What are you going to do? That's the goal. Simple. Natural. Real English. Hey everyone. Welcome back to Learn English Unleashed. I'm Peter, John's brother, and I'm really happy you're here. If you're learning English and sometimes native speakers sound too fast, don't worry. I know that feeling. Sometimes, you know every word in a sentence. But when a native speaker says it naturally, suddenly those words sound completely different. And you think, I know English, so why can't I understand this? Trust me, you're not alone. Today we're going to fix one small part of that problem. We're talking about 3 words you will hear again and again in everyday English. Wanna, gonna, gotta, and here's the best part. I'm going to keep everything slow, clear, and easy. I'll explain the problem, then give you the solution immediately. You'll hear fresh examples. You'll repeat them. You'll get mini challenges. And little by little, you'll start hearing the natural rhythm. So take a breath, relax, and let's unlock the English that native speakers use every day. Let's begin. Section 1. Let me tell you about a learner I once heard speaking English. He knew a lot of grammar. His vocabulary was strong. He could write beautiful sentences. But when he watched a native speaker, he understood almost nothing. He told me, I know the words, but when people speak naturally, everything disappears. That sentence is important because many learners think their listening is weak. Sometimes, their listening isn't the real problem. Their ears simply haven't learned connected speech yet. Think about your own language. When you speak quickly, do you pronounce every word perfectly? Probably not. You connect sound. You shorten things. You make some sounds softer. English does the same thing. This is called connected speech. And sometimes we call these forms informal reductions. So, want to can sound like wanna. Going to can sound like gonna. Got to or have got to can sound like gotta. It's not laziness. It's not bad English. It's simply a more relaxed way of speaking. And here's the first secret. Don't try to sound native by speaking faster. First, learn to hear the pattern. Then, learn to copy the pattern. Speed comes later. Practice 1. Catch the hidden. Wanna. Let's start with wanna. Wanna means want to, but remember, it's mainly for casual spoken English. For example, I want to check the menu. Instead of the slower, I want to check the menu. Or, we want to leave before the traffic gets worse. Notice something. The sentence didn't become more complicated. It actually became easier to say. Now here's your first mini challenge. I'm going to give you the slow version. You turn it into casual English. Ready? I want to see what happened. Your answer. I want to see what happened. Good. Again. I want to ask you something. I want to ask you something. One more. I want to find out. I want to find out. Excellent. But here's a small warning. Don't say, he want to leave. That's incorrect. Say, he wants to leave. Why? Because wanna comes from want to, and he wants to already has the correct third-person form. So don't force wanna everywhere. Natural English is about patterns, not shortcuts everywhere. 30-second challenge. Imagine you're ordering food. Say 3 things you want to do. I want to try. I want to order. I want to get. Go. Don't overthink. Just speak. That's your first step. Practice 2. Feel the gonna pattern. Now let's unlock the word learners here everywhere. Gonna. Gonna usually represents going to, especially when going to means a future plan or prediction. Listen, I'm gonna call him later. We're gonna watch the match tonight. It's gonna get busy around 6. Now, don't just look at the words. Listen to the movement. Going to, going to, gonna. The middle sound gets reduced. Native speech is full of these tiny changes. And here's something interesting. You might already know the grammar, but your brain is waiting for the textbook version. So when someone says, what are you going to do? Your brain is searching for, what are you going to do? And while your brain is searching, the speaker has already finished the sentence. That's why we're training your ears today. Mini story. Imagine you're sitting on a train in London. Someone says, we're going to get off at the next stop. You understand? We're then gonna, and suddenly you recognize it. Going to, that little moment matters. Because every time your brain recognizes connected speech, it becomes faster next time. Repeat after me. I'm going to check. I'm going to call back. We're going to head home. It's going to be fine. Excellent. Don't rush. Natural English isn't about racing. It's about smooth movement. Practice 3. UN lock. Gotta. Now we have gotta. This one is extremely common in casual speech. Gotta can represent gotta, or very often have got to, have to in meaning. Listen, I gotta leave. I gotta finish this. We gotta talk. I gotta get some sleep. Now imagine you're running late for an appointment. You look at your phone. You say, wow, I gotta go. You probably wouldn't stand there and carefully pronounce, I have got to go. That sounds much more deliberate. In casual speech, I gotta go. That's the rhythm. Mini challenge. I'll give you the situation. You have an online meeting in 5 minutes. What do you say? Maybe. I gotta get ready. Another situation. Your train is arriving. I gotta catch my train. Your work isn't finished. I gotta finish this. Great. Now you're not just memorizing a word, you're connecting the word to a situation. And that's much stronger for memory. Practice 4. Stop listening to every word equally. Here's where English becomes really interesting. English is often described as a stress-timed language. That sounds complicated, but the idea is simple. Native speakers usually make important words stronger and small grammar words weaker. For example, I'm going to send the document tonight. The important information might be, send document tonight. The smaller words can become very light. That's why native speech can sound fast. It's not necessarily that every word is spoken at high speed. Some words are simply compressed. Now listen mentally. I am going to send the document tonight. That's careful. Now, I'm going to send the document tonight. That's more relaxed. The sentence feels lighter. Don't listen for every single word. Listen for the strong words first. Ask, what is the speaker really telling me? This can completely change your listening practice. 20-second challenge. Imagine someone says, I'm going to pick up the package after work. Don't focus on every sound. Catch. Pick up package after work. Then fill in the rest. That's how your listening brain becomes stronger. Practice 5. Use the 3-word switch. Now let's make this practical. We have 3 switches. Want to, wanna. Going to gonna. Got to, have got to, gotta. We're going to train them together. But don't memorize a giant list. Use situations. Situation 1. A weekend plan. I want to visit that market. I want to visit that market. Situation 2. Future plan. I'm going to take the early train. I'm going to take the early train. Situation 3. Urgent action. I have got to reply before lunch. I gotta reply before lunch. Now you try. Don't write. Speak. That's important. Because this lesson is about spoken English. Your mouth needs practice too. 60-second speaking test. Finish these naturally. I gotta. Give yourself a real situation. Maybe you're planning dinner. Maybe you're preparing for work. Maybe you're heading out. Use your own life. That's where fluency starts becoming real. Practice 6. The native listening. Now we're going to turn listening into a game. Next time you're watching an English video, don't try to understand everything. Become a listen for. Wanna. Gonna. Gotta. And here's the interesting part. Don't stop the video every 2 seconds. Let the conversation continue. If you hear, you want to come with us? Your brain should go, ah, want to, got it. Then keep listening. Don't celebrate for 10 seconds. Keep going. Because real conversations don't pause for you. The 2-minute routine. For 2 minutes, listen to a short English clip. Your only mission. Catch one reduction. That's it. Maybe you hear, I'm gonna. Good. Maybe, do you wanna. Good. Maybe. I gotta. Excellent. You don't need 20 examples. You need repeated recognition. 2 minutes today. 2 minutes tomorrow. Your ears begin to notice the pattern automatically. And that's a powerful change. Practice 7. Shadow the rhythm, not just the word. Now we move from listening to speaking. This is where shadowing becomes powerful. Don't simply repeat. I am going to instead copy. I'm gonna. But don't focus only on pronunciation. Copy the rhythm. Listen. Pause. Then follow. For example, I'm gonna check that. Your turn. I'm gonna check that. Again. A little smoother. I'm gonna check that. Good. Now, do you want to come along? Your turn. Do you want to come along? Again. Not faster. Just smoother. And I gotta get back to work. Your turn. I gotta get back to work. Excellent. The 3-minute shadow routine. Minute 1. Listen. Minute 2. Repeat. Minute 3. Say the sentence without the audio. That's it. 3 minutes. No giant study plan. No complicated routine. 3 focused minutes. Practice 8. Use them in a mini story. Now let's make these words emotional. Imagine it's Friday evening. You've had a long week. You close your laptop. You look at the clock. You say, I gotta get out of here. You grab your jacket. Your friend calls, want to grab dinner? You smile. Yeah. I want to try that new place. Then your friend says, it's gonna be busy. You laugh. That's fine. Let's go. Look at what just happened. You didn't study 3 vocabulary words. You lived through a tiny English scene. And your brain remembered gotta equals urgent action. Wanna equals desire or choice. Gonna equals future plan or prediction. That's much more powerful. Your turn. Create your own 20-second scene. Maybe you're leaving work. Maybe you're planning a trip. Maybe you're meeting friends. Use all three. I want to. It's gonna go. Make it yours. Practice 9. Know when not to use them. This practice is extremely important because natural English doesn't mean use wanna, gonna, gotta everywhere. No. Context matters. These forms are mainly informal spoken English. So if you're chatting with friends, I'm gonna call you later. Fly. If you're speaking casually, I want to ask something. Fine. But in a formal email, job application, academic writing, or official document, write. Want to, going to, have to, have got to. Not. Wanna. Gonna. Gotta. For example, don't write a formal work email like, I'm going to send the report tomorrow. Better. I'm going to send the report tomorrow. This is one of the most useful rules. Speak casually when the situation is casual. Write professionally when the situation is formal. You don't need to choose one style forever. You need to know when each style belongs. 30-second decision game. I'll give you the situation. Talking to your best friend. I'm going to head home. Yes. Formal business email. I'm going to... Yes. Casual conversation. Do you want to join us? Yes. Academic essay. Use. Want to... Great. You're learning not just English, but social English. And that's a much higher level. Practice 10, your 5-minute real-life speaking routine. This final practice brings everything together. And I want you to remember this one. You don't need an hour. You don't need a perfect study desk. You don't even need a partner. You need 5 focused minutes. Minute 1. Listen. Play a short English clip. Listen naturally. Don't translate every sentence. Minute. R. Hunt. Listen for. Wanna. Gonna. Gotta. Try to catch them. Minute 3. Shadow. Repeat 2 or 3 sentences. Copy the rhythm, not just the words. Minute 4. Create. Make your own sentences. I gotta. Use your real life. Minute 5. Now talk for 1 minute. No script. No stopping. Maybe I gotta finish work today. Then I'm gonna take the bus home. I want to relax for a while. Simple. Natural. Real. That's enough. And here's the secret. Tomorrow, do it again. 5 minutes. Then again. And again. Your brain doesn't become comfortable with spoken English because you watched one video. It becomes comfortable because you give it repeated evidence. The big surprise, you don't need to sound perfect. Let me tell you something. I wish every English learner could hear. You do not need perfect pronunciation before you start speaking naturally. You don't need a perfect accent. You don't need to sound American. You don't need to sound British. You don't need to copy an Australian accent. Your goal is not to become someone else. Your goal is to become comfortable being yourself in English. If you understand. That's progress. If you can say, I want to. That's progress. If you hear, I gotta, and understand it immediately. That's progress too. Fluency is built from tiny moments like these. Let me take you back to the learner I mentioned earlier. At first, native conversation sounded like one long sound. Watarayagonado. Everything seemed connected. But instead of giving up, he changed his practice. Every day he listened for one reduction. 1. Not 20. He started noticing. Guana. Then. Wangna. Then. Gotta. A few weeks later, something changed. He was watching an English interview. The speaker said, "You want to come over?" And immediately, he understood. No translation. No pause. No panic. Just want to. That moment may sound small, but for a learner, it's huge. Because suddenly, English doesn't feel like noise anymore. It feels like language. And that's the transformation I want for you. Quick recap. The 3 keys. Let's make this easy. Wanna. Want to. I want to check. Casual speech. Gonna. Usually. Going to. I'm gonna call later. Future plan or prediction. Gotta. Often. Got to. Have got to. I gotta leave. Casual necessity or urgency. And remember, these are mainly for informal spoken English. Don't force them into formal writing. Final 60-second challenge. Okay. Last challenge. No notes. No subtitles. Just you. Complete these. I gotta. Now connect them. Make one tiny story. Maybe. I want to improve my English. I'm gonna practice for 5 minutes tonight. I gotta stay consistent. That's your sentence. But more importantly, that's your mindset. Motivational ending. And listen, if native English still feels fast sometimes, don't panic. I was once a learner too. I know what it feels like to hear a sentence and think, wait, what did they just say? So don't be hard on yourself. You are not behind. You are training your ears. You are training your mouth. You are building new patterns. And every time you recognize one small sound, you are getting closer. You don't need to learn everything today. You don't need to speak perfectly today. You just need one small win. Today, maybe your win is understanding tomorrow. Maybe it's wanna, then gotta, and one day you'll hear all 3, and your brain won't stop to translate. You'll simply understand. That's what we're building here at Learn English Unleashed. Not perfect English. Real English. English you can hear. English you can use English you can actually live with. So keep listening, keep speaking, keep making mistakes. And most importantly, don't give up, because every sentence you practice today is making tomorrow's English easier. I'm Peter, John's brother, and I'll see you in the next episode of Learn English Unleashed. Until then, keep it simple, keep it natural, and keep speaking. You got this.